The light shone sharply into his eyes as the doctor continued to ask questions about his mental health and history. "So, what have you done today?" said the doctor in a somewhat uninterested tone. "Well, firstly I woke up just as roughly as every morning, with a policeman slamming on my door and shouting on me to go up. Then I ate breakfast, if you could call it that. Then I went over to Bobby to talk." "What did you talk about?" asked the doctor. "A lot of things. Sports, weather, politics. But it's mostly I that handle the talk, since Bobby can't do much else than drool the whole day since the Scarecrow had his way with him," answered the Joker, while looking around in the room. "I see that you have some trouble focusing on me. Shall I give you more medicine?" The Joker didn't answer him, but kept on examining the bright room. "I ain't happy that you keep ignoring me, you know." The Joker turned his head to him slowly and said, "It's not that I'm ignoring you that bothers you, is it? What it really is that you're stuck here with me, while your little Lucy back home is running around helping your neighbors cleaning, if you know what I mean." The Joker turned his head a bit to the side and leaned forward a bit more. "Don't ever say that about my wife again," said the doctor with a sharp and angry tone. "But it's true, and you know it, Steve. Your little Lucy having carnal relations with other men, since you ain't enough for her, since you can't please her," the Joker said each word more slowly than the last. "If you say anything, and I mean anything, about my wife again, I swear to God." "What are you going to do, Doc? Are you going to kill me? Huh? Are you going to hit me? Are you going to lock me up in the isolation again? Actually, I'm pretty comfortable there." The Joker swung from side to side after each question, and revealing a body language that made it obvious that he wanted the doctor to react from his actions. "Don't push it, you clown," said the doctor angrily. The Joker stopped moving for a second, turning his head to the side, showing his ear while moving closer to the doctor. "What? Did you call me Doc?" he asked coldly. "I called you a clown, you freak," said the doctor, spelling clown with his lips. The Joker started to laugh, leaning back in his chair. No, I'm not a clown." The Joker shifted tone from a mild laughter to a serious, cold voice. "I'm not a clown," he repeated. "Do you feel mad, clown?" the doctor asked with a bad-looking grin on his face. "Let me tell you a story about myself. When I was a kid, the circus came to town. It was a famous circus, really big, but my family wasn't the most rich of all, so we couldn't afford to see it. The one time that the circus came to town, and I couldn't go. But I snuck in, you see. I sneaked into the tent when the show was about to start, and sat down at an empty place to silently watch the show. There was exotic animals, fire breathers, sword eaters, magicians, acrobatics, all kinds of stuff that was exciting to a little boy. But there was this one guy, a Joker, and this Joker moved me. He truly inspired me to do things that little boys enjoy to do. He inspired me so much that I wanted to be like him." "Where is this going?" interrupted the doctor. "Don't interrupt me." He stared at the doctor for some time before continuing. "Anyhow, he inspired me so deeply that I wanted to be like him. So, after the show, I stole some makeup from the backstage and I put it all on, and there I had it. I looked just like him. So proud as I was, I headed home just to see that my mother was crying on the floor, and that my father was a little more drunk than he used to be. and also that my mother's face was bleeding from the hits he's been delivering to her. He looked at me. He stared at me. And then he started to laugh. Or, no, it wasn't laughter. It was madness that came from my father's mouth. He struck me in the head with a bottle because I looked the way I did. Then he turned to my mother, cursing that she gave birth to a freak like me. He pointed a knife that he had in his hand at my mother, still cursing over what a bitch she was, over how useless she was. My father stabbed my mother in the thigh. She started to bleed and she was screaming for help. He then stabbed her in the arm while she tried to defend herself. Then he raped her in front of my eyes. I saw my mother being raped by this monster. And after that, he killed her. He stabbed her in her neck, paralyzing her consciousness. And that was pain, suffering, fear. Then he turned to me. He said, "Why so serious, little clown? Ain't you supposed to laugh like clowns do?" He took the blade and put it in my mouth. Then he said, "Why so serious? Show me a great smile, clown boy." I felt a terrible pain in my cheeks. Then my father kicked me when I was lying down. Then he dropped the knife to go to the oven, turning it on. He was going to burn me alive. I did what I had to do. I picked up the knife and stabbed him in the back. He turned around, swearing at me, so I stabbed him again in his shoulder. He fell down to the ground screaming in pain while I kept stabbing him until he died. Then I ran away, crying over the loss of my mother. But you know, you gotta see the bright things in life. And since that moment, I'm always smiling. Doctor leaned slowly forward, having his face just a couple of inches from the Joker's head, whispering, "You're nothing but a mad fucking rat." Before he could finish his sentence, the Joker thrust himself on the table, biting his throat, tore away his carotid artery, making it bleed to death. He stood up, laughing hysterically over the death of his therapist. With the blood from his doctor in his face, the Joker was forced on a straitjacket and was dragged out of the room, still laughing with the murder in his eyes. The corridor he was dragged through was just as wide as the room he's been earlier in. But the most noticeable difference was that the corridor had hundreds of similar doors with different numbers on them. The Joker's eyes were locked on a specific number, door number 704. When they reached the end of the corridor, they locked him at the isolation. It was a very simple room. Everything was covered in pillows to keep him from damaging himself. A large light bulb was in the ceiling, and a rusty entrance to a ventilation shaft. The Joker sat in the middle of the room, while he was trying to listen to the sounds outside the room.